Yeah. Who wants to do this? All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the OverToasted podcast, where we get overly toasted and talk about shit. I'm Kearney. As always, I'm joined by
Larry.
And we have a guest today, which isn't the first time, but today it's someone of some notoriety in the musical and artistic world. You want to introduce yourself, man?
Oh, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrew Winters.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know. I was just thinking about how I said my last name, put emphasis in the wrong syllable. But
Emphasis.
emphasis. Andrew Winters. What?
Winter. Like wheat thins?
Andrew Quinthins.
Damn. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Do you want to,
Thank you for having me.
yeah. What is it that you do that might be noteworthy?
I don't know. I like to play the drums a lot and do music and tour the country. So, play heavy metal, rock and roll.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I've never been on a podcast before, dude, so this is very different.
No, it's
very
cool.
different.
Neither
It's
have
new
we.
for all of us.
Yeah,
so
it's weird.
you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll sit down here and smoke and talk into the microphones while we're just having a normal conversation. And it's honestly like just this weird elevated feeling of feeling like your conversation's a little more important than it actually is.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there won't even be a computer recording. We'll like lean into the mic purposefully to say something to somebody, even though they're like completely in the opposite direction.
Just you have to.
You're a faggot, Larry.
Yes, I am.
That.
Thank you
Anyways.
for noticing. I try.
No, I feel important though with the microphone in front of me.
Oh
That's
yeah, it's
exactly.
nice, isn't it?
Only if I had like a podium with it and like a bunch of people in front of me.
Someday.
So someday I'd just be like,
I've experienced it before. It's quite a sensation.
what was it for?
When we had a thing, it was like our last band concert, and I was trying to raise money for my like Eagle Scout project, and I was like, "Hey, give me money, and I will give you nothing in return." And then a bunch of people gave me money.
Did you like swindle them out of their money, or did
No,
you give them
because
something in return?
someone else went up and he was like, "I'm gonna take your like returnables from you, and then use that to generate money for my project." And I was like, "Shit, this guy's got me beat." And so I just went up and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not offering anything in return. I just need money." And then apparently, honesty just worked that time because people gave me a fair amount of money.
Nice. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it was for a good cause then, right?
Yeah, I built the fuck out of those cupboards.
Nice. Did you ever progress as an Eagle Scout? Were you
Yeah.
an Eagle Scout?
Jake and I both.
Nice.
And-
Nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
good times.
I was a Cub Scout in East Lansing, and the pack leader was such a dick. he was also my neighbor too, which was a bad thing. And he would like taunt me with hedge clippers about. He's like, "You want a haircut?" and just come after me. He was a sad man. I didn't really give a shit though. I just had fun. Got my badges, did my thing.
So, this is a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard about the Boy Scouts honor of D's?
No, I have not.
So, I never did Boy Scouts, so I wouldn't know about this.
I can confirm this is a real thing.
Kearney did.
It's
This
not
is something
actually.
I recently learned. Apparently, if you see another man's penis, you have to show him yours.
I've heard about that. Yes, no, I've heard about that. I think it was even in a movie though too. Like some kid saw it and he was like really stressed out about it for some reason. He like couldn't talk to his friend normally. And somebody suggests showing his friend his. I can't remember the movie though.
Would it happen to be the show Workaholics?
I think so. It was with Adam and Blake.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We watched that like about 30 minutes ago. Great show. I've never like seen another man's penis within the ranks of like Boy Scouts. Well, I guess I did, but he wasn't from our troop, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I just remember like going to the YMCA once a year and as Cub Scouts, and like every time the guy that was like working with the YMCA and like basically leading all the group activities, we would go to like the shower room, and every time I saw that guy's dick because he worked there and did not give a shit who saw his penis.
Yeah. Well, he's got job security. Yeah. But I think one of the first times I saw like a grown man naked It was just throw the conversation this way. It was my sister. She was it was at her wedding at the Lansing Country Club, and I was walking. Me and my brother, we were part of the groomsmen up in the front of the wedding ceremony, and we were all walking into the changing room to put our tuxedos on. I was the first one in line to walk in there, and as soon as I turned this corner, there was this elderly black gentleman who was completely fucking naked, dude. And I just saw him, and it like filled my whole field of vision, and it was like all I saw. And then he was so comfortable with it, and like as a kid, I was thinking about how was he just so comfortable, like being naked like that. It was almost like an alien topic to me, and then I realized that's what people do. Like some older people though, they're
don't
comfortably naked.
Old people do not give a shit.
Like we all sag the same, you know. We all look the same.
There's a story I remember from our time in marching. We were getting fit for marching uniforms, or it was probably concert actually. As always, we did. But like the one woman who will remain nameless was like getting in real close with the fittings, and like I remember changing in the bathroom with a bunch of other dudes, and people were like, "Yeah, she's like getting in real close to my junk." And you walked in, looked at John, you were like, "She touched your penis too?"
Yeah, I remember that. As soon as you said that. Yeah, that was so weird.
Oh shit! I gotta stir this.
That was hilarious.
I thought so too, man.
Oh, what other funny memories from high school?
A lot of weird shit happened in the band locker room.
That was fun. I never used my locker though that I was assigned freshman year, and I had a huge locker.
Didn't you like just keep the drums in the? I mean, what did you have to bring to and from school?
Nothing for band camp though.
Yeah.
Like besides a lunch and a water bottle and my music, nothing. My instruments stayed in the cabinet. That was fun though. Marching band was a lot of fun. I enjoyed band camp and the heat and like the discipline of it, doing push-ups. But I also heard they're not going to be doing push-ups anymore.
That's so fucking depressing.
It is.
They started cutting that out the year after you guys left, my senior year.
That's so stupid because the marching band, it's like basically off the same principles as a military style of command.
If those people had to deal with egg roll, they'd all be dead.
Seriously, I remember him and his counterpart.
Hamish.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Hey, we're bored. 25 push-ups."
That sucked.
Everybody hated it at the time, but like in hindsight, I start to realize like why that was more or less wise. Also, you like feel better when you do push-ups sometimes. Yeah, I kind of regret like being in one of the like most pussy like groups in the entire band.
You weren't in color guard.
Yeah, well, I said one of. I think we're like 3 next to.
You're still better than.
I don't know if the flutes are like crazy and did a lot of shit, or if they were just like weak ass bitches and didn't do anything. But the color guard was definitely the most like.
I remember the color guard. Those people are fun.
They had like 10 people on the side out on injury because it was too hot, and I was like, "Get over it."
To be fair, I did like pass out one year,
Oh.
but like I remember my vision going at weird colors, and like someone walked up to me and they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like,
It just falls over.
Everything looks like Game Boy colors," which it actually did.
I've never knocked on one passed out like that before. I've been hit in the head, and that was more like I just closed my eyes super hard because it hurt like a bitch. But I've never blacked out or fainted. I'm not sure what it's like.
I had it happen like almost happened twice in the same cellar, and if you can imagine, like I said this earlier, what like your original Game Boy looks like, where it's like kind of greenish. That's like my vision went to like that color palette, and I'm like, this is not how things are supposed to be.
Was
and then
it
I sat
instantly?
down. It was just like over time, like you start feeling like lightheaded, and then if you want to like be like, I'm just gonna push through this, like slowly the vision gets to a weird color, and that's when I started being like, oh, I should probably like sit in the shade and drink water because.
Eventually get like wavy lines in your eyes.
I never got that
I
far.
never got that.
No.
I got that one year.
I haven't passed out. I came close a few times.
So speaking of passing out,
I don't know where you're going with this.
how was Thanksgiving?
Oh, you want me to tell that story?
Oh yeah,
So, I lived, because you don't know, I lived in a house in the UP last year because I didn't go to Michigan Tech last year, but I had signed a lease with 3 of my friends who were going there, one of which is Austin, the other 2 I met at Michigan Tech. And basically, the week of Thanksgiving, they all left, and so there were 5 days leading up to Thanksgiving where I was just kind of like working and then doing nothing. And I was like, what a great time to take a tolerance break from marijuana, which I smoked every day prior to that. And so for 5 days, I was alone and bored in my house. And like, you know, when are you ever just alone in a house for like days on end and your like circadian rhythm gets off, so you're listening to like Slayer at 3 a.m. and trying to like clean half the house, but the other half of the house still looks like shit. But you, anyway. So 5 days later, I drive down to my grandparents for Thanksgiving, and my whole plan was like, all right, my tolerance is lower. I'm gonna smoke a bunch of weed. I'm gonna eat the fucking turkey. It's gonna be great. Well, what actually happened was I smoked some weed, and then 300 feet from where I was standing, my dad shot a deer, which like was the loudest noise in the universe at the time. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, and he's like, go get the truck. And I'm like, I'm gonna go get the fucking truck. And I ran inside and I'm like, guys, dad shot a deer. And everyone was like, holy shit, that hasn't happened in a long time. And I'm like, I fucking know. And then that was cool. But after that happened, they're like, hey, we're gonna eat soon. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go to my car. And the subtext was to finish this fucking bowl. And I took like maybe 20 rips off my vape, which shouldn't have been any, which should have been like a very like reasonable amount. I walked back inside. I started watching my grandma make gravy. I was like not feeling good. I took 4 steps towards the bathroom. My vision was gone. I took 4 more steps and then I hit the ground.
Damn.
And like my parents and aunts and like shit were like, what happened? I'm like, I fucking smoked too much weed, I guess. And that was all well and good. I slept for an hour, got back up, the same thing happened. And then they called paramedics who decided not to take me to the hospital. And that was how my day went. And I couldn't smoke weed for months afterwards without getting fucking severe anxiety.
Did you not drink enough water?
I had 2 glasses of water first thing that morning. This happened about 3-4 hours after that. Yeah.
Could
That-
be another brain tumor. No, joking.
Dude, it's funny you say that because when I was laying on the ground, like blacking out, greening out, I guess you would say, like my aunt, because everybody in my family like smoked weed at one time when they were kids, and she was like, "This can't be pot. Like, there's no way it's this powerful," not knowing how like incredibly strong
Yeah,
marijuana is
seriously.
now. And once she said it's not pot, my brain just started running, and I immediately convinced myself I was dying of brain cancer and would be dead within a month. And then I lived out what that would feel like, going through like, can I have like an okay rest of my life? Like, what do I need to accomplish before I die? Like, I never thought it would be this hard to face death head on. Yeah, it was a really shitty week. And then I couldn't smoke weed for a while. But yeah, that's my story about passing out.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you at least get to eat turkey?
No.
No, what the
Because
fuck?
when I got back up from the chair, before I passed it the second time, I sat down at the table and I attempted to eat, and then I fucking greened out again. And that's when they called the paramedics. So at some point, there was turkey consumption, but it was cold.
Did your head fall into your plate when you passed out?
No, I just sat like with my head in my hands, and then like my vision was gone, and my dad was like slapping me in the face, and I wasn't responding. But my head was upright.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dang, that's intense.
By the way, the next point in time I smoked after that was about 6 hours later. And it was totally fine. But after that, not so much. Yeah.
Strange.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a long spiel about greening out. Yeah. You can change the subject now if you want.
Let's do it. Okay.
How was your most recent tour?
Oh, dude, the most recent tour was a lot of fun, and it was very stressful. We played a show in Missouri and then proceeded to go to Louisiana. Then our transmission blew in Arkansas in the middle of like, nowhere. Like fucking nowhere. I think it was like West
Just the
West
van that
Little
you were
Rock.
living in at the time?
Yeah, it was our house. And we somehow got it to a Walmart parking lot, and our guitar player, Tony, he was able to call a towing company, or like a big truck repair. And this guy named Big Mel, he came out on his day off in like some like beautiful suit with like nice shoes on, and he came to look at our van and everything, and then he took us to his shop, and he was able to get us a used transmission for a good price, and then he worked like I think it was like 13 hours by himself all night to put it into the van, and we were just like sitting in this like little lobby of this auto store in the middle of fucking nowhere for so many hours, and like it almost felt like purgatory in a way because I'm just sitting there and like I'd wake up for 2 hours and look at my watch and then go back to sleep and wake up, it'd still be working. But hey, we made it. It was very stressful drive throughout the rest because we went to New Mexico and there was mountains but the driving was fun. The shows were amazing though. Very good shows. We played with one band that they were very cool. But that's all I got to say about them. I don't know. I don't really have a good opinion about it, and I'd rather not say it. But there was 2 guys in there who were really cool.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
they were hired on musicians for the tour. So they're not really a part of the last band, but they were the best part of that band. And they were really cool.
Sick. So, like, that one dude just kind of, like, I'm sure you paid him, but just the generosity of a stranger kind of got you out of there?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, yeah, we paid him a lump sum of money. Like, more than I want to
Yeah.
give anybody.
Yeah. Jake and I drove out to California just via car last year, and one topic of conversation that this past year, fuck off.
Yeah, I was gonna say February.
A topic of conversation that came up with like the people, my relatives that we were visiting, was like how random people will just save your ass sometimes. Like, I picked up 2 hitchhikers earlier that summer, and like it was a situation where I was going in the opposite direction they needed to go initially when I stopped, and like they were about to give up and move onward, and like just by chance I stumbled upon them, and I was talking to my cousin about this, and he said he was a hitchhiker in the same kind of experience where like just at the fucking very last minute someone who was completely inconvenienced by it was able to help them out. And that's like one thing I've always found fascinating about like road trip stories is like anyone who's been on the road long enough has like a story like that.
For sure. I
For
believe it.
instance, like when we took my van up north. So I had bought this piece of shit van. It's still a piece of shit, but I still own it. I still own it. It's just over 300,000 miles now, but we
Holy
bought it.
cow.
I bought it for $300. It was absolutely junk on the inside. There was oil stains, paint stains. The seats were like chewed up by dogs. Like, piece of crap van, but $300. You can't pass it up, right? And so I figured, hey, I've got this van. We all just quit our jobs. We're going on a road trip up north. Let's take the van. I hadn't had my license yet, so Kearney had to drive. So we're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden Kearney's like, hey, this thing's swaying really badly, man. Like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, we should probably get off at the next exit or whatever. He's like, it's getting worse and worse. And so as we're pulling off to the side, our friend Paul, who's in the back, wakes up. He's like, there goes the tire. And like, it felt like a flat tire at first, right? So we're like, what's going on? And the van didn't drop immediately. Like, it wobbled and then smoothed for a second. So we're like, okay. And then we look to the left and the tire just shoots past us.
That's
Like, it is
hilarious.
racing us down the highway at this point. Luckily, we were off enough that it rolled down the median, didn't hit another car. But where I was going with that was like the random kindness of a stranger. Some man, like a 2015 Silverado, pulled up and he's just like, let us borrow his jack. And he told us exactly what parts we needed, everything. And he's like, yeah, you can keep the jack till tomorrow. I'm staying up the road. Like, just get it fixed and then give it back to me. Like, if he wouldn't have come along, we would have been screwed because my jack broke when we tried to use it and Austin's jack wouldn't work. So we would have been like SOL.
Wow. Wow. I love good humans, I guess. That's a good way to put it. Very quality.
Fun note about that trip. Our friend Paul told us afterward, he's like, yeah, well, I was sleeping back there. I felt it swaying pretty bad, but no one was saying anything. I was like, could have warned us earlier.
Damn.
By the way, when he said there goes the tire, he didn't say it in like a hey, we have a fucking problem kind of voice. He said, well, there goes the tire. And I'm like, Paul, what the fuck are you joking about? And then I looked to my left and the horrifying realization of what was occurred.
That's awesome. But it's not awesome at the same time. We on a tour, like right when we did out of high school. I have like PTSD from this one. So. I'm dead serious. It seems like because anytime I'm on the highway, I'm always like always imagining like just a huge wreck and like everybody's dying and shit goes to shit. But it's because of this one damn van. It was like a 1984 person, like 15-person church van, and it was all metal, and the transmission was going to hell. And we were in North Carolina, and in the mountains around the road, around this curve, we broke down, so it was both a blind spot from going this way and that way. And then the cops had to come up there and direct us. And we couldn't call a tow truck on our own. They had to have a special, like I guess like a qualified tow truck to come there and get us. So then it was like super expensive. And then my brother and the bass player at the time, they get the ride with the tow driver. And I had to ride the back of the cop car. And it was with these two cops of North Carolina. And they patted me down. And they asked if they could, but I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't have anything. I'm just getting in the car with you. And I was in the car with them, and they were not talking to me at all. So I started talking to them, and I was like, so, like, you guys like music or anything? And like, fuck, they weren't even playing any music. I kind of felt like I did get arrested. And I was like, but they just didn't talk to me, though. And one guy said, he's like, I like EDM techno music. And the other one's like, I don't like music. and it was just so funny to me. Because it was kind of like a really awkward Uber drive, almost.
But for free with the cops.
Yeah, but with the cops for free, yeah. They just really did not want to, I guess, have to do it.
So you were driving like a church van as the tour vehicle?
Yeah, that was the tour vehicle. And it just makes me scared of highways because the thing would sway so hard and it would just like break down anywhere and like the whole transmission would like slip. It was bad. And like when we'd go on an incline with the cruise control on, it would like skip a gear and just rev really high, and then and then it would drip oil, not from the outside but on the inside. And my brother drove the whole way, and it squirted oil on his feet the whole way, and his shoes were stained with oil. It was bad.
Damn, dude.
It was bad. It was really bad, but it was fun, and I'm surprised that we actually made it.
Yeah, older vans can be scary. Yours was even older than mine is.
What year is yours?
Mine's a 99. And then my mom had a 94 van that we inherited from my grandfather. This is when I found out that my grandfather was a real pimp. Because when we inherited this van, we found over $25,000 in uncashed checks that he had. We found like 5 large boxes full of pornos. And we found about a half an ounce of unsmoked weed that had been in there for well over 10 years to the point the THC had crystallized.
Nice.
It had been sitting in my grandfather's field for over 10 years. No one had touched it.
In the field?
Yeah, it had broken down, so they just sat it there.
Was it like in a car? Or what was
It
it?
was, yeah, it was in the van.
I was in the van?
Yeah. So we inherited this van and we're cleaning it out. That van was bad. When I say sketchy, I mean sketchy. There was no floorboards. There were so many holes in the floorboards, the person had just taken plywood, put it down, and then put carpet over top of that.
Oh, shit.
Then we were driving that once. The whole rear axle popped off that. The front bumper, that fell off while we were driving it. The passenger side door, when my grandpa had it, that flew off while he was going down the highway. Once you got over 50 miles an hour, you really never knew how fast you were going because the speedometer would like bounce from 50 to 80 to 50 to 80, and you just never knew where it was. And then, yeah, no, that van scared the hell out of me.
I told Jake, I said I hate driving. I hate it.
Same.
It's scary. Because you're driving like a 2-ton missile.
Oh, when
like
I was
a
in that
bullet,
van,
dude.
I wasn't that worried. I'd been hit 3 times. None of them left a scratch on me. I've totaled 3 cars.
Was it made out of pure metal or was it like
Yeah,
really
it's a solid metal van.
nice? Same with the brown van my brother had. We this one time my brother and I we were driving with the van, and it was super late at night, and this deer flew in front of us and he hit the tail end of it, and we got out of the car and it was so dark and we had like their phone screens on it. And we were trying to shine the light on it, and It didn't look quite like blood because it was kind of like chunky and dark. And there was fur, and then we put the flashlight on it, and they're like, we literally hit the shit out of this deer, and like we hit it in like the middle of it, right behind the ribs and the tail end of it, and it must have squeezed everything out of it, dude. And it was like a bunch of fur on it. The deer was nowhere near us. It went flying, and this van was like untouched, not even a scratch.
Yeah, they're tanks.
It was wonderful.
See, I was hit 3 times in that van. And the first time I was just rear-ended. I was like, all right, this just sucks ass, but it did nothing to my car, so I don't care. Go away. I don't want my insurance to go up. I'm not calling the cops. Second time I was rear-ended by a drunk driver at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. I was late for work. They had a long Saturday. I had a longer Saturday. And at 7 a.m., slams into me going like 45. He bent in my back door, and I was like, oh, right.
Did you step out and be like, my neck.
Oh, no. Listen to this one. What actually happened there was I get out of the car and I can smell alcohol. And before I get even like near his door, I was like, all right, I don't deal with drunk drivers. This pisses me off. So we were at the corner and there was a church there. I was like, hey, man, why don't you go inside and see if anyone in the church can help? He's wasted. He doesn't care. So he stumbles inside. I pulled my van about a good 20 feet forward, lined my hitch up with his bumper, put it in reverse, and I floored it. He was driving a little, like, it was a 90s Cavalier, and I put that front end, like, through the driver's seat.
That's hilarious.
I was like, who are they going to believe? Me or the drunk driver? Like,
The drunk driver. Nothing. If it
probably the law's,
Yeah, that's
the law's backwards.
And, well, is there statute of limitations on that? Because, incriminating evidence.
like
Confess.
yeah, the church just has like cameras and just see you do it.
Wait.
Oh, well. Yeah, and then the third time I was hit in that van, I thought I was done. I thought it was the end of my life because I was going through an intersection. Someone had ran a red light and T-boned me. And when they hit me, it wasn't just like a little tussle. The whole thing went sideways. Like I was seeing life at a 45-degree angle. It was absolutely terrifying. But then I slammed down. My back tire landed on the guy's hood. And I had to like drive off of his car. And they're like, oh no, is your vehicle good? Do we need to get it towed fixed? And I just looked at it. I was like, you scratched the paint.
Damn.
I had like smashed the hood of the guy's car, ripped his fender off when I drove off of it. I was just like,
That's
scratch
crazy.
the paint.
Scratched my pain, I'll give you that much. No, come at me with something stronger, you fucking pussy.
I like to think I'm a defensive driver though.
Now that I'm in my smaller car, as I was stating, now I very much am.
I want to be on a motorcycle. I want to get my motorcycle license and do that.
You're afraid
I'm
of driving, you want to ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
I'm the unlucky bastard that would die if I even tried getting on a motorcycle.
I didn't really say I'm afraid of
Wait.
driving.
It's just not, you don't enjoy driving, but motorcycles, though. They're death traps. They're worse than cars.
I mean, you're not gonna kill like 5 people if you crash, you'll just kill yourself.
Like, almost guaranteed.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so it's like a win-win.
I'd rather me die than maybe all of you guys die.
Well, that's
I think.
fair.
I don't know. Maybe I
To
should
be
try
fair.
that.
I've seen saw a guy crash his motorcycle broadside going 60 on a country road into the side of a van. Like it was like a catering van, like one of the, like one you might see from,
Oh
like,
fuck! Do you think
bar van.
do you think it messed the food up on the inside? No.
At least they got their food.
It's like fuck. It's like they
Yeah.
tossed a salad. It's like
Oh god, if only we hadn't done it earlier
The guy's
too.
face is all fucked up, and we took him, and he wound up getting to the hospital, and we had to strip him while his clothes and stuff, but he was still alive, which is insane, because he should have broken his neck or something.
Yeah.
He was totally he was actually able to move. He hurt all over, and he was bleeding a lot, but once we stopped that, we took off his motorcycle jacket, and I tucked that underneath the cot. We get to the hospital, and I just I don't know where to leave this, so I set it down on the floor because we're in it's a pretty bad trauma, and everybody in the hospital's like, all right, well, they made room for us, and we just made it to the first trauma room and dropped him off, gave a report, and left, and then an hour later we had a call from the hospital, and they're like, yeah, the state troopers are looking for you guys, they want to talk to you.
damn.
Why?
That's crazy. Could you imagine that?
The guy had a loaded gun and meth like in his biker jacket.
Did he have like a CPL whatsoever or no? He's just
he was a criminal.
a criminal. He's a fucking criminal.
Oh Lord.
Damn.
But he did. I mean, fairness. He crashed his motorcycle going 60. On a
Was he
country
high
road.
on meth?
Probably. I feel his face, but I don't know if that was the wounds or if that was like
that's the
meth.
mixture
meth.
of meth
Meth
and
and
the pain, adrenaline. That's a good thing.
meth
But
and
they
adrenaline.
all they
Favorite
wanted to ask
drugs.
was like, "Did you guys plant that gun on him?" And we're like, "What? No. Why? Why would we do that?"
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I think it was like standard procedure, but it was still like really funny that they had to find us and ask us in person, which was
Really?
pretty hysterical.
I think the correct response to that is no. We planted the meth, but not the gun.
Yeah, we planted the meth.
Shit, did I leave my
You
meth there?
can't state troopers. They take themselves way too seriously. They
Yeah.
would-
I worked at a restaurant once, and we would do catering stuff, and we would be in like there were no seats in the catering van, so I would be squatting down next to like all the food within that van, and I could imagine like something nailing the side of that with all and just throw all this shit everywhere on the inside. That'd be crazy.
So, have you ever heard of a band called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
No, I have not. Where are they from?
Australia.
Really?
Yes. They actually make fucking excellent music. So they're a psychedelic band at core, but they have a jazzy album, an acoustic album. They're releasing a thrash metal album next month.
That's cool.
They've got like a bluegrass album, like a garage rock album.
Weird psychedelic mystical shit.
They've written some of the coolest music I've ever heard in my life.
What are they called again?
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
But yeah, they have an album called Nonagon Infinity that it like every track flows into the next track, and if you put it on repeat, it'll just constantly loop into itself.
That's fucking sweet.
yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
We were talking about like cutting the corners off of, well, they're not corners, but like cutting this table into a nonagon and like painting the lyrics from each of the 9 songs into a different like section of it. I think like it's a lot of worship for one album, but like I think it'd be dope as shit.
I would
to
do that for an album that I really love.
Oh yeah.
Nonagon tabletop opens the door.
Fuck yeah. That's the opening line.
We're renaming the podcast again. Did you know that we renamed the podcast?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I don't have a
Times.
I don't have a computer to fix it.
That's okay.
That's fair.
Well, you
Actually,
have it
if
though.
you send me,
But
if you
my-
send me the Illustrator file,
I
do you
can't.
use Adobe Illustrator?
No, but I can still send you the vector file of it.
You have a vector. Okay.
But my computer's down and I can't retrieve it. So
It's fine. Give it
I do with time, money, work, labor.
It's kind of a process. I mean, it took me 2 weeks to put together 2 episodes of this thing, which is insane.
Get a fucking mic. Please.
It's too late.
I'm never letting you start this without a mic again. But yeah, sorry to cut you off. You have been putting in a lot of work. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for all the effort.
Yeah.
You know, round of applause.
If we ever make money, you'll get paid first.
We're not gonna make money.
Yeah, you will. You'll make money. With that bullshit attitude, you won't make money.
I don't want to make money.
Why not?
Wait, okay. I think we
That'll
were
ruin
talking.
the- that'll ruin the art.
Yeah,
Oh,
We're doing
fuck
it
off.
doing it for the art.
This is
Yeah.
high art, motherfucker.
yeah.
Have you
But I
noticed
mean-
what we're doing?
It's unfortunate that everybody needs money though to survive
Yeah.
in this world. It's bullshit.
I'd rather just do this
It's
for the fun of
complete
it, but
bullshit.
Yeah.
ultimately we will have
What if we got paid with food stamps?
That would be dope.
I could make that work.
It's to apply for welfare.
Yeah, fuck it. I gotta get fired
The
first.
Welfare Podcast.
It would be a podcast.
Brought to you by EBT.
It'd be like 3 homeless dudes having a podcast in the
That's
park.
what this is.
Yeah.
We live in a society where 3 homeless dudes can very easily have a podcast.
Most
is
of
kinda
In the
neat.
park. Yeah, you just have to record it.
Hmm.
I guess I don't know how
It won't
much
be
you
the
can
most high quality, but they could do
do.
it.
Yeah. They have like
Probably better than ours.
just like a bunch of wind like on this.
recording outside, like put a cardboard box
Yeah.
everywhere as a part of the studio.
We're in the studio on the sidewalk of downtown LA.
You just hear like
And
just
just
hear
like
halfway
those
through-
out.
you hear halfway through the podcast. Hey, what are you doing in my shed? Get the hell out of here!
I peed in the corner, that means it's my shed.
Oh yeah, some people like I don't know, I'm not homeless, but if I were to be, I would definitely move to the woods and live off the land as best as I could.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to try to live in the city.
North.
There's no life there.
No,
The only life there is if you have money.
Mm-hmm.
and even then, is it really a life?
No.
The
You're
Walking
like
Dead.
begging. Yeah, literally, it's like The Walking Dead. It's like human zombies.
I don't
But-
think I could ever like live in the city.
No, I would go. I would like head check my ass down to Florida, be a beach bum forever. Just become like nice golden brown, have nice long hair, learn how to kiteboard.
You can realistically like
dream.
live on the beach, be a trash collector, make no money, but also have no rent, and just fuck around for the rest of your life and have a pretty okay time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about getting cold at night at all. But when a hurricane comes, you gotta get out of there, dog. You can't stay. You know, that's like one big wolf blowing on your cardboard shed.
He just gets extra 10 sticks for the tarp that he's
mean-
using. I actually saw a guy who like in California. There was a guy on the beach who was like literally like encased in just like camping tarps.
We should
Just like a
do
bunch of
that
them.
for like a couple
Yeah.
months.
It was his home, a little tarp igloo on the sand.
Mysteriously, the beach reeked of weed.
Mysteriously.
Mysterious.
like-
So did all of California.
Oh yeah, same with Puerto Rico when I went there.
Really?
And like everybody's house, yeah, before it was like in 2016, I think, before the hurricane hit there. And everybody's house is like half built because I'm pretty sure they're like, it's a nice day, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the beach. And they say that like every day, so they're like their house is half painted, and it smelled like weed, and everybody just has a good time there. It was beautiful, literally the most like clear water I've ever seen in my life.
Damn. Sounds like a good way to be living, man.
It is, but you're the thought that couldn't cross my mind, or I mean, leave my mind, was that we were on like an island that was no bigger than like Rhode Island, the state, out in the middle of the fucking ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. It made me nervous for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, isolation can drive you crazy.
Yeah.
One big wave could destroy that entire like culture and civilization.
Maybe like a tsunami.
Yeah.
Be gone. But when we landed from Florida, we were in the airplane, and the airplane was full of more Puerto Ricans, and we were like the only white ones on there, like with another couple of families on there because they were touring the country. Because my sister and her husband lived there because they're both in the Coast Guard. Well, my sister's not, but her husband is. And as soon as we landed, all the Puerto Ricans just started clapping and cheering. And they were like, yay! And the guy next to me, he was Puerto Rican. He's this older gentleman. And he's like, you won't get that anywhere else. It was so awesome. I loved it there. Like, everybody was welcoming. Like, the topic of conversation earlier about people helping you. That's like everybody there.
Hmm.
It's cool.
Do you think that has to do with them all being like ripped all the time?
Ripped?
Stoned?
Like being stoned?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I guess, yeah, they have everything there they want, I guess.
Quintessential close knit community.
Yeah.
Tiny island.
Very tiny island.
Everybody knows each other.
That we did go to this one island off of Puerto Rico called Flamenco. I think it was. No, Calabria. It was called Calabria. And it was literally like in the Caribbean. And it was just like rum. And they actually filmed part of the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean there on Calabria Island. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Very dope. So what about you guys? Where have you been? Out of the country, in this country, different states?
So I was born in Minnesota. Worst state ever, but no, besides Ohio. But
Yeah, I agree with you. Fuck Ohio.
but no, I grew up there until about like third grade. Then in third grade we moved to Tennessee. Well, borderline Tennessee, Kentucky. Part of the land was Tennessee, part was Kentucky. And it was fun there, but like, why the fuck would anyone move to Kentucky? No. And then after we got bored of just living on a farm there, we decided to move to Michigan.
And that's where I met you.
True.
I think that goes to everyone in this room.
Yeah.
Minus the Minnesota to Tennessee part.
So, did I ever tell you how I
What?
met Kearney?
No.
So, my entirety of my freshman year, we said maybe like 2 words to each other. We sat in the same lunch hallway, but like we never talked to each other. And it was just like 2 people in the hallway, 2 or 3 people ever. We just never said anything. The end of the year, I was hanging out with someone else. And they're like, oh, shoot, I forgot. I'm going to this bonfire tonight. You want to tag along? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I show up, and it's his house. It's his bonfire. And, yeah, so I've just been good friends with him
That's
since
cool.
that night.
Nice.
We stayed up late night listening to, like, creepypastas and...
I love creepypastas.
Best. And we went to like a speedway and watched kids that we knew from our high school like smoking cigarettes outside, and I was like, whoa. Such a crazy world we live in.
Yeah, seriously. I remember kids in our school smoking cigarettes. I thought that shit was cool.
I remember
me.
It's
walked-
not.
we walked into the band locker room one day and it like fucking reeked of cigarettes and everyone
Oh,
knew.
in the band locker room?
Yeah. And our
I
band
think,
director,
I think it smelled like pot once too.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I had less of a keen nose back then, but that day I'm pretty sure it was ciggies. But our band director like looks at me and he's like, Kearney, was this you? Knowing that I'm like the most fucking innocent kid in that entire grade at the time.
Was.
Yeah. Well, at
Oh.
the time. That's why I said at,
Was this
at the time fucking means.
middle
Sorry.
school or high school?
This is high school.
I remember, yeah, people were smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. Now kids are vaping.
That shit scares the fuck out of me.
It smells like cotton candy surprise everywhere you go.
So yeah, oh my
There's-
god, cotton candy surprise.
It's awful.
I was in a situation when I was watching like fucking. This is gonna sound weird. I was watching 16-year-olds just rip on dab pens with like the will of a fucking champion. I'm like, you guys should not have access to this kind of technology at your current age. And it's between that and the fucking like 50 Nick carts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just imagine what that like those jewels and vapes are doing to us.
There's no long-term studies of it
Yeah.
No.
at
Well,
all.
Except for cigs, but like that's
Yeah, that's SIGs.
they don't really know what nicotine specifically does to you, or if like I've heard it's like safe. I've heard it's not safe. It's clearly addictive. I fucking woke up this morning after having like a night full of fever dreams, and then I just like laid on my floor and hit the vape a couple times and fell asleep, and then woke up and took a lot of pills and went downstairs. Just kidding. It was Tylenol and fucking anti-congestant shit.
Antihistamines.
Dude, Tylenol works shockingly well for what I thought it did. Like, I did not have a migraine after that point in time, which is really great. Because I woke up with a fucking migraine.
Yeah, but one thing I've always thought as a kid, like you see medicine commercials and it always says it targets the pain. How does it know where the pain is?
Yeah, I've always thought
Like,
that.
what the fuck, dude?
Like,
Like, I don't even know what to say to it.
because
Doesn't
it's
make
like
sense.
helps with headaches and joint pain.
Do you think it
But
just, like,
how does it know?
Numbs
Which
your whole
joint?
body. It's like get it all.
I think it's like Osmosis Jones, and it's literally a robot that pops out of the pill and goes and shoots the virus. or
That's
whatever
the
it's called.
only way it makes sense.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Osmosis Jones. Favorite cartoon of 2006?
Is that the water heater?
That's the shower.
Oh, is it?
So probably, yeah.
Okay.
No, David's not home.
Toilet.
Oh, no.
I didn't use the restroom.
Ghosts.
Fuck. We're about to die.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. We're haunted.
Spooky ghosts.
I've always one of my good friends, John, he had a huge like camcorder, like the ones that just mount on your shoulder that has a huge tape. And I was like, let's go ghost hunting with that. Let's do it. Let's go in there and I'll get the boomstick and you have the camera. And we'll just do it. Cause like, fuck you phone. Fuck that phone. And then I was just thinking like I feel like tape has a better chance of picking up like a ghost entity or like a ghost presence than it does it digitally.
Mhm.
I don't know why. Yo, there's somebody here. Oh, it's your cat.
That's the fucking cat.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about
He's
to
scratching in the litter
get him
box.
Fuck you, Yule.
up.
Dude, Larry's cat's a straight up punk.
Bring you in here for a cat break.
We just had a.
I love
Great.
cats.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty. It's gonna meow.
What
like
if a
bitch,
person
though.
just walked in here, like he was in there, like pretending as a cat?
I would throw his fucking water bottle.
I'd be
at
like,
their face.
Somebody walks through and goes, meow.
"Is this your roommate?" I don't even know what he looks like. Nobody's moving.
Yule.
He's laying a Yule log.
Do you ever have it happen when you're like sitting in the dark and you're slightly paranoid about the possibility of an encounter with something, and then all you can see in your brain is the most like horrifying possible scenario repeated over and over and over
Yeah, but it's
again?
just like the bookshelf or something when you walk into it or something. I've
You're
done
like,
that.
that's the outline of a moose person's head. He has a golf club that he's going to use to cave my skull, and in reality, it's like my door.
I've had that. This one time I walked past my door because I don't like the dark, and like human instinct, like we're afraid of the dark because there's always predators beyond it.
Fear of
And
the
like
dark.
when I've always had like a fear as a kid, like when something's running up upon me and I have no clue what it is in the dark, it scares the shit out of me for some reason. And so I was going into my bedroom and I was wearing my bathrobe. The cat's going. And I walked past my doorknob and my doorknob grabbed. Wait, no, that was a different story. Yeah, my doorknob grabbed my bathrobe and I thought it was somebody grabbing my shit. So I instantly turned around, and then this one time, my door hinge on the bottom of my door was off. So when I tried to close it, it would just like stop itself and then push it back. So I was walking into my room super late at night, and I tried to close it, and it stops, like feeling like somebody's pushing against it, and it comes open, and I look right at it, and I was so afraid. Like I'm getting creeped out, like right now talking about it. I got so fucking afraid. I was ready to fight whatever's going through that door. I don't know. It's like shit like that scares me. Ghosts don't scare me, or like monsters and sharks and spiders don't scare me, but like
But opening doors,
that, like slowly opening doors scares the shit out of me. Like
you would
creaky
be
doors.
terrified of Nonagon Infinity.
What is that?
It opens the door.
Show me.
It doesn't say that it slowly opens the door.
True.
Except for that one part where they say it really slowly.
Nonagon Infinity? Is that like a?
It's an album. We already talked about it. By King Gizzard.
Well, yeah.
Was a wizard.
But what do you mean it opens up the door?
That's just the opening line.
Oh.
It's
The
Nonagon
album
Infinity
repeats
opens
the
door.
chorus, like it repeats that line a lot, I guess.
Opens the
Not
door.
I guess. It
It definitely does.
definitely does.
Yeah, but I like creepy shit a lot. I don't know why. I like going to graveyards for some reason.
Do you respect Robert the Doll?
What is Robert the Doll?
I mean, we respect Robert the Doll.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Is that
Fuck
kind?
Robert the Doll.
Oh shit, we're doomed.
Is you guys have a haunted doll in the house?
No.
No.
No. Wait.
There was
do
this
we?
doll named Robert the Doll that, like, if people would disrespect it, they would, like, go insane. Like, they would lose their minds.
There are like documented
Really?
cases of people like disrespecting Robert the Doll and then just horrible shit happening to them.
Is it a
until, like-
physical doll?
Yeah.
It is a physical doll. It's in a museum where you have to, if you go there and want to take pictures of it, you have to ask it politely or you'll get fucking cursed.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I fucking believe that
You
shit.
respect Robert the
Like,
Doll.
same when you have to use a Ouija board, you have to say goodbye when you're done with it.
Have I ever told you like the Ouija board story with some people you
Do I
may
know?
have known? No, definitely no. So we used to like when I was in like late middle school, early high school, we made a series of videos called Thomas the Tank based on Thomas the Tank Engine, in which it's that show but with military vehicles and shit. And while we were making this one day, Steven and Kyle, who were not part of the process but had showed up anyway, were dicking around and found the Ouija board that my parents just have with like other board games. And they ran up to my room with it, and I was like, this looks enjoyable. I'm going to go after them. And I took one step. My friend Austin put his hand on my chest, and he was like, dude, no, that shit's not a... Like, I had no idea what he was talking about. Like, him, I'm pretty sure Jake said it was, like, real shit. And I'm like, this cannot be true. So I go up there.
So did Jared. Jared was freaked out too.
I mean, the stories that both of you told me about your parents, like...
Yeah. They had
No,
a lot of stories
I
about
wasn't
fucking
there,
Ouija
but like
boards.
that's fucking
Yeah,
scary.
you really have to respect that stuff for sure.
Well, I went upstairs and they were just asking stupid questions, and Steven goes, "Will Kearney go to hell?" And it moved to the bottom of the board where it said goodbye, and he got up and then ran down my stairs so fast that he tripped on the last step, face planted, got up and kept running. We asked it more questions, and then the whole thing just kind of devolved into a certain members of that group were pretending that there was a spirit when one was not actually present.
Yeah, I feel like that was also a big factor of groupthink, though, because if you do that with many people, like one person will push it and then the other ones will start following it, and at that point, when everybody starts moving it, you don't feel it moving at all.
Yeah.
But I believe in that stuff and I believe in ghosts, but when I see it, I try to debunk it.
What do you mean by that?
Like if I see a door move by itself, I'll go over there and like step on the floor by it to make sure it doesn't move. Because my door in my bedroom, if I step on the floor at a certain spot, the door will start to close slowly. So sometimes it could be like a floorboard that creaks, or like water pipes pounding. But if it's like literally something flies off the fucking table, the window's not open, and like a gust of wind's not gonna do that.
Oh, yes, a gust of wind in the basement.
Yeah. Like I would be if that bottle flew off, I'd be like, all right, guys, thank you for having me here. I'm gonna leave right now.
Can't say I have any like real ghost encounters that seem significant. But like there have been a few moments where like something that has been completely still for a long period of time has fallen next to me in the dark. And like there is nothing that could have possibly that I saw that could have caused it, and I will have no idea like why it fell at that moment in time. But like that kind of shit always scares the fuck out of me.
The unknown, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's my fault though, and I'm just stupid and paranoid. Like I'll knock something over without realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I had my guitar. I sat it down, and I was like 95% sure I sat it down like leaning up against like 2 corners.
Yeah.
So like it could not fall unless it somehow like went again. But then
Went
it, like,
forward.
Yeah. But then it like slid down the side of the wall. I was like, well,
weird.
I'm just gonna hope that was just me
feel
not
like
actually
that's
putting it in the corner.
Explainable. Tell the story about when you were listening to "Wish You Were Here" in your old apartment.
Okay, so this was when I was fairly new to the recreational use of cannabis, and no one else was home. I had used a vaporizer, and I went up in my room and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna lay in my bed and listen to music. Everything will be great. And I put on some Pink Floyd, and I was listening to "Wish You Were Here," and it starts going through the opening of the track, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And what I did not know at the time is there's a cough that was recorded in the recording of that. So I have my headphones in, the lights are off, there's no one else in my apartment, I'm laying there and I hear and I like lost my shit.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I like did a backflip out of my bed, like turned all the lights on in the apartment, the bathroom, my roommate's room, like the kitchen, like everything. There was as much light, and I just sat on my couch just quietly until my roommate got home 3 hours later.
Did you re-listen to it?
No, I was just so freaked out. I didn't want to do anything but like
I've had
watch my
stuff like that.
surroundings.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And then I found out the next day I was listening to it on the way to work, and I was like, God damn it.
That sucks. Sometimes, like when I'm out, I'll be home and my hair will be down, like I won't have it pulled back, and I'll see it out of the corner of my eye, and it will look like a person, and I'll like jump around, like just thinking someone's in my house, and it'll just be my hair. It's silly, but sometimes I get paranoid when I'm in a house by myself.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if like I've lived there for a long time.
That's common.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Every time I house it for my mom, I always bring my shotgun because I'm
Yeah.
terrible. Like that. We have pets too. Like we have a dog, and I'm like,
Your dog's not fucking
you won't
saving you,
protect me.
Jake.
You'll bark, but you won't protect me.
Yeah, I feel safe too. Firearms make me feel safe. But there's always an aspect though of you're not invincible, and a wooden door. Like the locks on my windows are not for my safety; they're for burglars' safety.
Yeah.
To stay out.
Locks are for honest people though. So.
And ghosts.
Yeah.
Like you can't shoot a ghost. You could just like sage your house and
Shoot yourself,
keep it.
it's
Yeah.
all over.
That's why I
That's
keep
seriously.
Sage next to my
Then you
bed.
become the ghost.
Yeah.
Then you can beat the shit out of the ghost who tortured
fuck.
you.
I
I'll
w-
come to you.
Committing
love to do
suicide
that.
so you can fuck up a ghost in the afterlife and get it to stop haunting your house.
Modern problems
Ghost fight.
require
Yeah,
modern
that would-
solutions.
I would love
That'd
to be a
an awesome
ghost.
premise for a movie.
Ghost
Kill yourself.
A guy who
Kill
killed
yourself.
Yeah. I feel like that movie should have been made like a long time ago though. Yeah.
Borderline the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Except he didn't kill himself; he got murked.
Oh.
Murked.
Wah, wah.
Got murked.
What about Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice?
That's a great ghost movie.
That's one of my favorites.
Have not seen.
Michael Keaton is bae. Especially all the gross.
Yeah. Do you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
13? What was it? 13th Ghost or 13 Ghosts?
13 Ghosts.
13th.
13th Ghost?
Yes.
What was that?
You should tell him what this is.
So it's really, really awful movie. It's
The art direction is great,
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
like
but
visually it's astounding, but like the plot and like the mood they're going for is so damn confusing.
The tone is really zany. It's like an intensely like, it's trying to be borderline not family friendly, but like comedy, while also being grotesque horror.
Oh yeah, it's
So
like
all the creature
it's gore
effects,
porn
all,
hard.
all the creature effects and the death scenes are all insane and really awesome.
So
I love it.
But the plot and premise is just so ham-fisted and retarded that it's like, you can't take it, like you want to take it seriously because of how like terrifying everything is supposed to be, but then like it's they're constantly making it a joke because of the production and the way they went about it. Plus, it's like early '90s movie, so
So I was gonna ask when it was made.
yeah.
Some of like the fucking.
For instance,
that's
so
creepy.
the movie starts with this dad and these kids, and you see like a house burning, and you find out the mom died. So they're moving into this house that they inherited from like the mother's uncle or something.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
But the house is made purely of glass. Like it's all glass with like brass fittings around the doors. And so it's like really strange. You showed him that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird to watch. But like it's got these weird markings on the walls that definitely look demonic, and they just go, "Oh yeah, this is normal. Oh, this is cool.
yeah.
We're just going to live here." And so the kid's like playing around with a scooter, and he's like spinning around like on this like sundial thing, it looks almost. And he gets to the middle, and it like all pops into place and like lines up in these giant like mechanisms. The whole house starts shifting around, like with giant glass panels and gears and shit. And it's like, what is going on? So you come to find out that the uncle was like an artifact hunter. He like used to like hunt animals, and then that got to the point that wasn't interesting anymore. He went after rare objects. That got to the point. So the uncle collected ghosts, like legit demented ass shit ghosts, and just kept them in his house.
No way. No,
But-
thank you.
And he invented these like glasses that you could see the ghost if you wore the glasses. And yeah, so the whole movie's pretty much those people trapped in the house and the ghosts getting loose one by one. And if you plan on watching it, I'm about to spoil the whole thing for you, but like the 13th ghost is their mother who died.
Ooh.
I could have definitely seen that coming.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very good movie that I saw recently was Pet Cemetery, the remake of the Stephen
Was the
King
remake
movie.
good?
Yeah, it was very good. I haven't seen the original one, but I hope they stayed true. It was good.
I heard the new one was supposed to be far closer to the book than the original film was. So, and the original book is fucking terrifying. Like, it's
Yeah,
super
Stephen
fucking-
King's a creepy dude. Morbid.
You got some stuff going on.
Or
in
like
his
that,
brain.
The Exorcist. Have you guys seen that one?
No.
From the
I have.
70s? Oh, that one's fucking crazy. Dude, oh my god. I watched that when I was like 13. And like I did that movie, I was like, oh my god, bro. But I was like, I could still see it perfectly, but I was covering my face like this for
You
some
didn't
reason.
want to be
It
exposed
was
to
fucking
it. You're just
scary,
like,
dude.
oh.
Like, oh, dude. Like I saw shit when I was that age in that movie. I was like, I didn't even think about. It was weird. And I remember watching Jaws as a kid. That movie scared the shit out of me. What else scared the fuck out of me?
Have you seen The Thing?
No, I love John Carpenter though. Halloween. Oh my god, I love Michael Myers.
The Thing has like some of the
Thing.
best visual effects I've ever seen on a monster, and it's the most like unsettling thing I've ever seen.
And it still holds up. Like it's still fucking
It looks
amazing.
better than like
Oh,
any
yeah.
CG I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
I've never seen it, which is a
It's
shame.
easily one of the
Yeah.
best horror movies. The thing is, we watch it we watch it almost every month. Like
I've seen it twice ever, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it at
Okay.
the cabin.
I've
I
seen
saw
it.
it.
I've seen it
we watched
5
at
times
cabins.
with Brian present in this situation.
That sounds about right.
I've seen it 10 times this year.
Damn.
Not
It is
counting-
a great ass
years
movie.
prior.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and I'm still terrified.
I'm
while
gonna have to
watching
watch it.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
probably.
It's Steven's favorite movie. That's why.
What? I
Nice.
thought that was like Jarhead.
No, Steven's favorite movie is The Thing.
That's not even me just being an asshole. Like I definitely thought someone told me it was Jarhead, and then he would get super
That's
pissed if you
hilarious.
made
He
fun
made
of the
us
movie.
watch that movie at Jake's mom's house one
Although
night.
I liked it until I fell asleep.
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's
With
good.
Jake,
It's
with
not-
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just ain't
It's a
no
good-ass
Thing.
No, I
movie.
don't like it. It's gotta be like Full Metal Jacket, or what is it?
Let's be honest.
Platoon.
Platoon's really good. Okay, do you remember anything past the first like half hour of Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, it's very minimal fighting, and it's bullshit. It was just there was like they were in the town, and then
Make war,
it
not
was like
peace.
one sniper in a building, and then one guy just went like all testicular fortitude and just started shooting at nothing. And then, yeah, it was very unexciting. I think everything was in the first half of the movie.
That's Stanley Kubrick for you. He blows his load within the first half and then he's done.
Yeah.
Really.
Private Pile.
Yeah.
And
Dude. We were having like Christmas in my house one year, and I've never seen Full Metal Jacket like all the way through, but like my grandparents and my aunts and uncles were in the same room, and my dad was like, "Hey, turn the TV on so we can watch like Christmas Story because it's probably playing." And I turned on the TV, and the first thing that came up was Full Metal Jacket right at the exact moment where the guy shoots himself in the head. It's Christmas Eve. I turned on the TV and could not breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Oh my god.
They're like, change the fucking channel, and I'm like,
God, that's so fucking funny.
I've never seen anything else from that movie.
That's so funny though. Merry Christmas. Oh, damn.
Did we ever say the name of your band at all?
Oh, it is Tyrant. Tyrant.
Yeah, plug your shit.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's like plug.
Shout out
Oh,
your Instagram.
self promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Instagram. I think it's Tyrant Official. I don't want to give the wrong thing. And then tyrantmetal.com. You can find anything at tyrantmetal.com though. It's linked to everything: our music, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, merch store, ticket sales, events, photos, and bios, and news.
Cool.
Get your merchandise. It's we don't have any right now, but we're gonna get it. It's because we sold it all. Okay, we sold it all.
Fair.
We didn't lose it in a boating accident.
Jake, what's our email?
Oh, it's overtoastedpodcast@gmail.com.
Overtoastedpodcast@gmail.com.
Send us zucchini or questions or pictures of zucchini.
No nudes though.
I'm not gonna like totally wall off that.
I'm still waiting on
Potential.
Nigerian email scams. I want all of them.
I'm still waiting
Yeah,
on.
send us as
someone to watch
many
a fucking
scams as
podcast.
possible. Our spam folder's like empty. What the hell?
Or just send us vegetables. I won't be here, but just send these guys some fruits and like vegetables in the mail.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Gotta get
appreciated.
So I don't get
Yeah.
scurvy.
Make your bones.
That's where you ended. Don't get scurvy.
Bye.
Bye.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.